we are undergoing profound changes globally in the political sphere. On the one hand, we see populist movements in the very countries that used to lecture Africa about good governance and democracy. And we also see in Africa young people taking power in unconventional ways. What does it say about the future of governance, and what will the global political landscape look like in the years to come? Thank you.
First, if people follow what some of us would be saying for the last 20, 25 years, it is only to confirm what we saw coming or we thought was coming. It's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a big surprise with the changes that have been happening. Doesn't matter whichever background or political walks of life. Things happen to an extent that the people will eventually, for one reason or another, identify more with what they find benefiting them more than other things. And that's why we should all be making an effort, those who are at the helm of political institutions or other things, to make sure we identify with what people think works for them, and work with the people to achieve that. Short of that, if you think you just impose things the way you want, and in your own way you think is what should happen, it doesn't take very long before you are surprised that but in the question you've raised, there is also some of those things that people have questioned over time. The lectures given to, say, Africa originates from the assumption, of course, given the divide there is, people call it north, south. The people of the north have assumed this right, or an entitlement, that they have the power and they will use it to serve themselves well, even if it means using it against others who are even weaker. Still, that must serve their but a couple of things are interesting. While you are assuming that you have every right to take it to others and feed it to them, whether they want it or not, At the same time at home, meaning the home of those people who think like that, there are internal processes, internal contradictions, because the people there also are saying, what are our leaders, our governments doing for us? And depending on which side of politics, one will gain over others, because, and here it is difficult to tell. You can't decide for people that this is what they must think that is right for them. Even these populist or conservative or liberals or whatever you call them, within there is a discussion as to whether what is happening internally among them serves the way they see things should happen internally now, before they go out and take it on to the others, those of us at the receiving end. So that internal contradiction will define things, and rightly so, their own way. And you see, it is very interesting when you look at, somebody talked about the administration in the United States, following what was going on the media, I mean, on the news and the media and everywhere. There was this opinion being shaped that one side had no chance, and you know, the leader is embroiled in litigations here, these ones, blah, 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 you know. Even the experts we used to follow in the news would really give you an impression they have formed their opinion there is one side that is going to win. Now, a few weeks after, they sort of disappeared, really. And these were experts to tell us about things in their own place. So why do you think? Because they were saying one thing, they were forming their opinions, they want everybody to believe that for one reason or another. But somehow the process of democracy gave them a different result. And they had to swallow their pride and accept what has happened. So that is in their area. So now, as it were from the beginning, they were used to taking it on some other people somewhere else in the South. Now, the South isn't going to be in a permanent state of confusion and, you know, obedience and just following the dictates as they come along. A number of changes have to happen also one way or the other, either changed by the people on the ground and saying these leaders of ours who are not doing anything other than sucking up to these dictates, we should find a way of getting rid of them, one way or the other. In fact, it is either one way or through the vote, which is always the preferred choice. But when that is not possible, some people have used the other means to get rid of these, in a sort of defiance about how they feel they are treated by these leaders, or by extension, those who dictate to their leaders what to do in their own countries. So one way, it will always give somehow, change will happen. So what we see on the political, economic, geopolitical landscape is a result of that. There is soul searching at different levels by different people, and it doesn't matter the weak, the strong, and there will always be a way to give in terms of the outcomes. So in Africa, Africa is no exception. You see, I have argued even openly and even to the point of probably being misunderstood. When we've been talking about, people have been talking about coup d'etats happening in different parts of our continent. Let me start with that. Coup d'etats are bound to happen in a place where so much is happening, and then the people either get fed up one way or the other and express themselves again one way or the other. As I said, they express themselves through the vote, or these ones who carry out coup d'etats are from this society. So they are part and parcel of the citizenry of these countries. So they are part of this dissatisfaction, resentment, anger, and injustice. Some young person. And then we say, oh, the establishment, unconstitutional means, Yes, whatever means. But that has happened because the constitutional means did not deliver to the people to the extent that they. If you are saying it shouldn't have happened, then you should also be saying what was there before that was changed should not have been behaving the way it was behaving. Now, to the people, there is a point where they may tell you, yes, what we have is bad, the coup, bad enough. But what was there before was even worse. And this is what they would tell you. So for them, they have maybe chosen between what is bad and what is worse. It's what I mean. Now, the remaining problem which must also be addressed, it's not enough to change what you think is bad. It's also important that when such a change has happened, you must really do better than what you have removed. So these ones who carry out coups, they have a task to make sure that they justify why they removed or they did what was unconstitutional to bring change. That change must be real, must give the people what is better than what they were getting under. Then that would be justified, in a sense, by that. So that is what is unfolding that we see every day. There is that struggle that goes on. So I hope certainly those who take over, while they may be condemned in some cases rightly so, everything can be put right by new developments happening that are going to serve people much, much better than what they had before. So, and that's what is happening on our continent. But for the dictates, for lectures, and so on and so forth, it's up to people to make a choice. And I think Africans need to just reject being, you lecture me on what should happen in Rwanda based on what? When even where you are coming from is having some confusion, some changes. So which dictate should I follow? I think we should also strive to do, things the way that works for us and improves people's lives. And what is so bad is that you may follow the dictates and do the very things that will run down your country. And by the way, those who give you lectures will manifest in two forms. One, some will actually blame you for it, even if you followed what they told you to do. Others will help you to sink deeper into the mess you have driven yourself. So you are better off charting your own course with your people and doing what you think is right for you or what works for you, and especially if it shows in the outcomes, in the results, then really that is what all along deserved to happen.